Here's another Yoga Classes in New York City Minute. Choice of yoga class involves an understanding of the history of yoga. If you are interested in finding yoga classes in New York City, you are certainly making a good decision, and one that will benefit your health and well-being. If you don't live in New York City proper, there are yoga classes in Jersey City and Newark. However, before you make your decision on what sort of yoga classes you're going to go to, it is important to fully understand just what style of yoga class would best suit you. Pre-classic yoga. The first style you might hear of is the pre-classic yoga. This is perhaps the oldest form of yoga you will find. This dates back to over 5,000 years ago. This is where the premise of eliminating the ego and focusing on wisdom came from. Classic yoga. Classic yoga takes its cue from being the first established yoga system ever created. This form of yoga is heavily drawn upon from many of today's more modern forms of yoga. It is from this form of yoga that enlightenment is stemmed. Post-classic yoga. Post-classic yoga was a step forward in yoga and a fundamental shift in the ideas of yoga itself. Rather than separating the body's physical condition from enlightenment, the post-classic approach believed, and still does, that the body is the key to enlightenment, as opposed to it being a precursor for enlightenment. Modern yoga. The modern yoga movement is no different from post-classic yoga, only in that the practices of yoga began to travel outside of India. Before this time, the practice of yoga was limited to only India, where it originated. Of course, in many circles, modern yoga doesn't equate to a spiritual experience per se, but it is an experience for the health of the body. This is just a brief and abbreviated history of yoga. If you find yourself looking for yoga classes in New York City, then you're going to have plenty of options, and you are likely to find plenty of different teachings, from pre-classic to post-classic, and everything in between. Do a little research, find the one that appeals to you most, and then go on from there.